We flow like water, dancing under dim lights. Feeling that rhythm, we live for the night. Steel drums playing, the vibe is so right. In this moment we soar.
Hi everybody, welcome to Goddess Garden Book Chat. I'm your host, Lemon Goddess. I am so glad you're here. We are going to review the Audible Original Stranded. I actually had this posted to drop as a summer read, but when I did a final run through, I had some really weird, funky audio problems. Wine was involved, mistakes were made. Look, I fixed it and I ditched it. But what I also realized is I couldn't just easily fix it because I had deleted everything that I had done prior. So I had to rework this. I like what I'm doing much better this time. This is Tracee Ellis Ross and Taraji P. Henson as narrators of this great book by Chris Bruno, David Howard Lee, and Shakuri Abdi. I want to talk about this, so please enjoy the review. Then we get to the personal perspective. I have lots to share with you about this particular read. And I hope you enjoy this review. I hope you subscribe. I hope you like it. And I will talk to you in a minute.
All right, so today we're going to be looking at the world of audiobooks. We're doing a deep dive into a review of Stranded, and it's an Audible original. This review really caught my eye. It wasn't just a thumbs up or thumbs down. It kind of took a deep dive into what makes a good audio drama really tick. And from what I gathered, it sounds like this story blends survival, drama, and even a little bit of introspection, all set on this mysterious island. Have you had a chance to check this one out?
Not yet.
No worries if not.
Yeah.
We're going to break it all down.
Well, what I thought was really interesting about this review was that it dives into what makes Stranded more than just your average deserted island thriller. It seems like it weaves in those classic survival themes, resilience and trust, the human condition, but then it adds these layers of identity and even redemption.
I'm already intrigued, but let's be honest. The cast list is what really grabbed my attention. We're talking Taraji P. Henson and Tracee Ellis Ross. I mean, that's a powerhouse duo right there.
Yeah.
And the review mentioned how much they loved both performances. But I'm curious, what stood out to you about them?
Henson and Ross, they definitely bring their A game. The reviewer highlighted how Henson's voice carries this weight of emotion, while Ross injects wit and humor. It's that interplay, that push and pull, that seems to elevate the story beyond just dialogue.
Yeah. And then there's the wild card, Blake Griffin. I had to do a double take when I saw his name on the cast list. The basketball star narrating an audiobook. Color me surprised. What did the review have to say about his performance?
Right. You wouldn't necessarily think NBA star and audiobook narrator go hand in hand, but the reviewer raved about Griffin's performance. What I found interesting was they specifically call out his ability to balance intensity and charm. Apparently, he really holds his own alongside those seasoned actors. I wonder if there's something about athletes having to perform under pressure. That translates well to vocal performance.
That's a great point. Maybe that on-the-court energy lends itself to bringing these characters to life. Now, the reviewer wasn't just gushing over the big names. They also mentioned how crucial the entire cast is in creating this sense of community and shared stakes.
It's like each voice adds a brushstroke to the overall picture, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
The review really emphasized how that full cast contributes to the story's immersion, building out this believable world. They didn't just throw a bunch of stars together and call it a day. It sounds like a carefully crafted soundscape.
Speaking of soundscapes,
Yeah.
let's talk about that sound design. The reviewer painted such a vivid picture. Crashing waves, haunting echoes. I felt like I was right there on the island with them.
Yeah. This is where the audio format really shines. Think about it. In a visual medium, the setting is often just there. But with sound design, you're enveloped in it. The reviewer described it as creating this cinematic feel, pulling you right into the heart of the story. Even small details, like the rustle of leaves or the whispers of the wind, can add so much to the atmosphere and the tension. Definitely.
Absolutely.
It's like the sound design becomes another character, adding this depth and texture you wouldn't get otherwise. You're not just listening to the story, you're experiencing it.
I love that idea of sound as a character. It makes me wonder about the specific techniques they might have used to achieve that level of immersion. Did the reviewer mention anything about the recording process or the mixing?
They didn't go into the technical nitty-gritty, unfortunately. But knowing Audible, they probably had some serious audio wizards working behind the scenes. Binaural recording, maybe? That's
Yeah.
where they use microphones that mimic the way our ears hear, so you get this incredibly realistic 3D sound experience.
Oh, wow. I've heard about binaural recording. I bet that would be especially effective in a story like Stranded, where the island itself plays such a big role. Speaking of the island, the review mentioned that it's more than just a backdrop. It delves deeper into human nature, right?
Absolutely. It sounds like Stranded taps into that classic, Lord of the Flies concept where the characters' true selves are revealed under extreme pressure. But there's a twist here. The review hinted that the island might hold its own secrets, adding a layer of mystery to the whole thing. It's like the island itself becomes a character, shaping the story and challenging the characters in unexpected ways.
Okay, that has me hooked. But it can't all be doom and gloom, can it? Does the review mention any lighter moments or any humor woven into the story?
The reviewer did say that Tracee Ellis Ross brings some much-needed levity to the story. It sounds like her character provides a counterpoint to the heavier themes, injecting humor and maybe even a touch of sarcasm into tense situations. I think that balance is important, especially in a story about survival. You need those moments of release to keep the listener engaged.
That makes sense. It's like the old saying, tragedy plus time equals comedy. Maybe that's what makes Stranded so compelling. It's a blend of these intense life-or-death situations with glimpses of human resilience and even humor in the face of adversity.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's that complexity, that mix of emotions that makes this story more than just a survival thriller. It's a story about what makes us human, how we react under pressure, and the power of hope even in the darkest of circumstances.
And how those reactions, those glimpses of who we are underneath it all, are amplified when you're stripped down to the bare essentials, stranded on a deserted island.
Exactly. And let's not forget the diverse cast of characters the review mentioned. It sounds like Stranded explores how these differences, race, class, background, play out in this isolated setting.
That adds another layer of depth to the story. It's not just about surviving the elements, it's about navigating those social dynamics as well.
Precisely. It makes you think about how our preconceived notions and biases might crumble, or maybe solidify when we're forced to depend on people who are different from us.
So we've got a compelling plot with twists and turns, a phenomenal cast that brings those diverse characters to life, immersive sound design that puts you right there on the island, and thought-provoking themes about human nature and resilience. Yeah. It sounds like Stranded really packs a punch. I have to admit, I wasn't sure what to expect going in, but now I'm definitely adding this one to my must-listen list. I'm especially curious about how they handle those themes of social dynamics and individual biases. Within a survival setting, it's a recipe for drama, that's for sure.
It really is. And what's brilliant is that it uses the audio format to its full advantage. Think about it. We're relying solely on the characters' voices, their tones, their inflections, to understand their motivations and their relationships. It creates this intimate listening experience, drawing us into their struggles and their triumphs.
That intimacy is something I love about audiobooks. It's like the narrator is whispering secrets directly into your ear. Okay, so we've covered the plot, the star-studded cast, the immersive sound design, and those thought-provoking themes. Is there anything else that jumped out at you from the review?
Actually, there was one more thing. The reviewer briefly mentioned how the story uses flashbacks to reveal the characters' backstories. This adds another layer of complexity, weaving together past and present to show how their experiences shaped who they are now and how they react to this extreme situation.
Oh, that's interesting. Flashbacks can be tricky to pull off, especially in audio. I'm curious to see how they weave those in without disrupting the flow of the main narrative. It does make me think about those aha moments, where you suddenly understand why a character acts a certain way, based on something that happened in their past.
Exactly. It's like those pieces of the puzzle clicking into place, revealing the bigger picture. And I think that ties back to what makes Stranded so compelling. It's not just about surviving on a deserted island. It's about understanding ourselves, confronting our pasts, and finding a way to connect with others even when everything around us is falling apart.
That's a powerful message. So for anyone out there who's looking for an audiobook that's more than just a thrilling escape, Stranded might be right up your alley. It's a story that'll stay with you long after you've finished listening.
And it makes you think, how would you react in a similar situation? Who would you trust? What parts of your past would resurface? It's an invitation to reflect on our own humanity, our own strengths and weaknesses.
What a fantastic way to wrap up this deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going to be checking out Stranded. And for our listeners, if you're intrigued by what you've heard, be sure to give it a listen. Who knows? Maybe it'll spark some insightful conversations of your own. Until next time, keep exploring those fascinating worlds hidden within audiobooks.
Okay, readers, I'm going to tell you why I picked this book. Um, I come from a huge family of cruise lovers. And while Melissa was cruising through the Atlantic, I found out that I have two family members on the high seas on yet another cruise. The catalog of cruises that my family has been on, no joke, is just amazing. So I saw this story long before I even knew this trip was taking place. But of course, this passed through the back of my mind. What happens in some bizarre setting where you're enjoying these wonderful cruises and you get stranded? And then there's the other element, traveling with your dear, dear friend. And in the case of this story, these are two friends that kind of drifted apart, but they decided, we're going to make time for each other, girlfriend. Let's go on this trip together. All right, girl, let's do this. And they decide to go on a trip together. Now, I've had one of my closest and dearest friends in my life since 1977. I love her like I love me. I'm not going on a cruise ship. It is hard to travel with people sometimes. And she and I have traveled together, I promise you. And hint, it's my book diva. If you've ever watched any of my book diva conversations, this is what I'm talking about. We have traveled together. We have had some amazing, amazing trips. There were also moments of peril, moments of trepidation, sometimes of concern, but it always worked out. That's the beauty of planning some of the vacations where you throw in an element that you don't expect. And this is what happens to these two. They get thrust into a situation where they're spending time together stranded, and they've got to deal with each other. They've got to deal with how they feel about each other. They have to appreciate how the other person feels about them, because you also have an element of, we've got to survive this. Does anyone understand and know that this has happened to us? As a read, I didn't realize it was a thriller. I was expecting a comedy. And yes, there are comedic elements, and the cast, oh my gosh, the cast is great. But this really kind of is sort of an unearthing of emotional feelings in a disaster situation that they probably never would have discussed, regardless of how long they've been in each other's lives. It's very hard to be honest with somebody because that makes you vulnerable to their reaction to it. And you see that play out in this situation up and until the time things take a turn, whether that's a turn for the worse or a turn for the better. You tell me. Again, this is an Audible original. So if you have an Audible account, you can enjoy this book. I also want to throw in the note that as an independent reader, I am in no way being paid to promote, nor getting any kickback from promoting that my biggest library is in audible.com. That is just a fact of audiobooks. If you're on a journey of audiobooks and you're working outside of the library, tell me if there's another place where we can find this kind of expansive deep dive into where audiobooks live. I would love to find it. But right now it belongs to Amazon. And so I just wanted to be clear that I'm neither pro Amazon nor am I pro Audible. It is what it is. And this is where the books live. So in order for me to get the book, in order to talk about these wonderful books that I've been enjoying, I'm always going to share with you whether I got it from the library or whether that's where I got it. So let's wrap this up and say that um, Taraji P. Henson, Blake Griffin, Tracee Ellis Ross, um, there's a fourth character. Her name is slipping my mind right now. Let me see if I can go back and find it because I do have my notes up. And it always says to me, which I think is great, and full cast. I don't know what that means. What does full cast mean? I don't know any of these people. And then when you click on full cast, you go on these weird deep dives of books that have more than 3 cast members. So I can't directly answer who the other cast member was, but she plays I think a neurobiologist. These are all very interesting aspects of in this very short story of what it's like to truly be vulnerable, be on a cruise ship or be stranded and be put in a situation where it's life or death with somebody that you really need to pair up with and be honest with. This is a really good book. I hope you get a chance to enjoy it. I certainly did. And I hope that this review gave you some much needed side vacation with peril. Because yes, it can happen. Yes, the hotel can lose air conditioning. Yes, your rental car can go on flat as you move through the straits. The things that have happened in the years of our journey, it is comedy. It is comedy. I really would love to do a deep dive, just what it means to travel with your best friend. but this book is doing it for me. So please, I hope that you'll come back again. I hope you enjoyed everything that we put together here. When I say we, you know I mean me and my tech. Because it's just me and my tech. That's what I mean by we. And the books that I represent. That big group, that plethora of people that create this form of entertainment that I promise you has been such a part of my life. I will never let go of the written word. I will never stop promoting it. And even though I moved to audio, I'm pro books all day. See you next time, friends. And let me know what you're reading in the comments, because I'd love to hear from you. And if you've read this book, let me know.
We flow like water, dancing under dim lights. Feeling that rhythm, we live for that night. Steel drums playing, the vibe is so right. In this moment we soar, take off in flies. We moving, we grooving, let the energy rise. In the beats of the heart, see the joy in our eyes.